Welcome to Worldview 2's Washington Report on this October 6th, what am I saying? 2025. I'm joined now by Jim Pfaff of the Conservative Caucus.org. Jim, good to be back.
Good to see you again.
I know. We got a lot of news today. We got Portland turning into I guess not turning into, it's been a war zone, but we got the National Guard coming down there and ICE. I was watching a video. I don't know if you know who Nick Shirley is?
Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he
Nick,
did a
though.
video out in Portland, I think last week, and I was watching, and man, there's some violent people out there.
Well, we got another Nick Sorter. He's almost like a son to Myra and me. And he's, man, I'm telling you, the incident with him has brought this into the national limelight. And the Portland Police Department has the DOJ coming after him. And it ain't stopping. It's about to roll out big time.
Yeah, and we have him speaking in front of the media. But I'm going to try to find the video. I saw a video, he was being attacked. Was he not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let me see if I can find that. Here it is. Let's play some of this.
Assaulted. You're going to be pushed. You're going to be. Don't do that. Where'd it go? I don't know, man.
You just saw in there my National Field Director, Chad Kaitton, who's out there trying to help him out a little bit. There's another gentleman, Matt Tirico, I believe, who's a former Green Beret. The two of them are kind of navigating this with Nick as he finds himself under constant attack. There are a couple Chad's a former Seabee in the Navy, and again, a Green Beret, and Matt. And he needs the protection because these people are violent. They're rude, they're horrible, and the police department is literally coordinating with them.
Yeah, and I saw Chad. I think he got cut up a little bit on the face as well, did he not?
I was talking to him on the phone earlier today. They were wailing on him, and the approach that they're taking is to be a defense for Nick and to help him navigate all this. They aren't not fighting back hard. He did tell me he had, as you could see in that video, he's got a protective vest on. He got whacked with a baseball bat, and he'd have broken ribs now if it hadn't been for that vest. Wow. So it's really violent out there.
Well, here's Nick talking to the media. He was arrested?
They arrested him I think it was Friday night. Or someday, maybe it's Thursday night. I was talking to Chad on the phone. We sent him out for the weekend. But yeah, he was arrested and he was being beat up on. They broke his camera. They initiated the violence, but the Portland police initially said and charged him with disorderly conduct, which was just thrown out of court today. And you'll hear that in the videos.
Well, here's this clip.
How much longer are you going to stay in Portland? And what do you say to the chief who says you're a provocateur only looking for clicks?
Well, I mean, I respond to the chief by saying I came out here to expose the police department and expose the hell that the residents are being put through out here. And, so he say I came out here for views or whatever. I don't know. Apparently he's a little bit bitter over the fact that, that we made these filings and are digging deep into the rottenest police department. But it's, I guess he helped with that. He helped expose it because with this arrest, whoever gave that order to actually make the arrest, made this story a nationwide phenomenon. It's got the eyes of the DOJ that's going to be digging into them very, very deep and quickly. I've spoken to the DOJ multiple times already over the past several days, even including on the weekends. They're pushing forward with this. So we're really coming to a head here in Portland. This is could very much be a turning point for the police department as well as the city government.
And how much longer are you going to be here?
I will be here at least most of the week. There will be a day that I won't be here, but I'm not going to say too much about that yet.
Given your experiences,
wow, so he gets labeled as a provocateur for just going down there and documenting what's going on.
Yeah, well, Nick is he's an independent reporter.
Yeah.
We would not know what happened in East Palestine, Ohio, had it not been for Nick Sorter. In fact, he and I were on the phone then, just before he went, talking about what he was planning on doing and how he was going to approach it. It really brought him into the national limelight because he was reporting on what was actually happening. Remember, in East Palestine, they blew up that and burned all the spilled waste from that train wreck, and it caused an immense fire. It's actually the way that the Biden administration handled that is in cooperation with the state government there. It has actually killed people. It's made it much worse than it would have been otherwise. I mean, there was a friend of Nick's. He was showing where he could throw a rock in a creek, and the oil type substance that had come out, it was all over the place, while the Biden administration said it was highly contained, and it wasn't. So Nick's been, that's what Nick does. He exposes these things. There's every reason for him to be there documenting what's going on in Portland, as you saw a major Antifa raid on an ICE facility. This thing's getting out of hand. And then when you add to that, him going out there, the local police are cooperating with Antifa. I saw a video just earlier that shows that the Portland police were coaching Antifa on how to handle the situation with the National Guard and the ICE agents that are at the facility. I mean, this is crazy. So, I think that the police chief can go pound sand. So what if it brings a lot of clicks? It's bringing a lot of clicks because of your actions, Chief. You're the guy who is at fault here. If you don't like the clicks, get your act in order and become a police department again.
Well, I think that's one reason why he doesn't like it is because it's exposing what's going on down there. And when I was watching one of those videos, I was told that the police had not come down this certain street where the ICE facility was, where the Portland police, that is, there was feds there and ICE officers holding back crowds. But the Portland police themselves had not been down the street in weeks, and Antifa had basically controlled.
They've ceded the road to Antifa.
Yeah,
there are other videos out there where they're coordinating with the Antifa people who are directing traffic, and they're having discussions with them about how to handle the traffic. Like they've just given this whole thing over to Antifa. It's something that's out of control.
I will be here
because they have allowed it to be.
Wow. Do I have audio coming off my computer here? I guess not. Here is a clip again of Nick Sorter and his attorney saying there's a 99% chance they're going to be bringing a lawsuit.
Last question. Now it's clear. You are moving forward with the federal lawsuit. You'll be getting confirmation of that in the next couple of weeks, but I would put it in the category of 99% certain we will be suing the Portland Police Department in federal court.
For the record, could you spell your first?
Good.
Yeah, they deserve it. I mean, we've got a real problem in this country, and here's what it is. Democrat elected officials are promoting violence everywhere, to the extent that in places like Portland and some other cities, they are empowering the police to allow the violence to continue, turning it upside down on its head. This Portland Police Department is literally helping the Antifa crowd to commit violence against a federal facility. And by the way, Donald Trump is well within his legal rights to have the National Guard guarding federal facilities. That is entirely constitutional. There's an Oregon judge there that is trying to stop the deployment of the National Guard. That judge has no authority to do so because it is absolutely clear that a federal facility is federal land, and the federal government has a right to protect that. This is a facilitation of evil. It's a facilitation of violence being perpetrated by Democrat politicians in Oregon. This is happening in other cities around the country at the hands of Democrat politicians who are attempting something that is more and more quickly getting toward like an insurrection. being perpetrated by Democrat politicians. This is a Democrat problem. Nick Sorter's not causing a problem. Donald Trump's not causing a problem. It is Democrat politicians causing this problem. Donald Trump has the authority to follow the law and deport illegal aliens, utilizing federal means and federal resources and federal employees to do that, and they have no right to stop it. This is a Democrat problem that we're seeing, and Democrats should back down. They are pushing this thing in a direction that will be very difficult to extract ourselves from. And quite frankly, I think that that's what they're trying to get to.
Yep. And it's also not just Democrat politicians, it's leftist billionaires and groups that are funding these organizations. And this is kind of ironic. Black Lives Matter national organization has sued the Soros-funded Tides Foundation, alleging it's withholding $33.4 million in owed funds. So when people were saying that Soros-backed groups were funding Black Lives Matter, this just proves it right here.
And the only reason that they're pulling it back is because they know they're in legal trouble.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, through the DOJ and the FBI, they are investigating what Soros has done. Don't forget, there's a gentleman named Noel Singham who's an American citizen, but he lives in Beijing. He's the guy, and he's a billionaire. He's the guy that funded the LA riots earlier in the year. These are just two names that we know of. There are many, many more who are funding these efforts. They are literally violent efforts, and in some cases, and I think in the Portland case, already leading towards an insurrectionist approach. And these people are funding it. They're making it happen. The LA riots happened not just because of Noel Singham's funding of the Cheerla group that started that riot, but also state and local government agencies in California, including a total of $500,000 from the Biden DHS. I mean, it's absurd and insane what these Democrats are doing. This is a Democrat-funded problem. This is being funded by Democrat donors as well. And it's got to stop. And Donald Trump is taking the right action to go after this. And there really do need to be prosecutions taking place from this. There is a conspiracy to create chaos in this country, and it's happening at the behest of Democrat politicians and with the help of Democrat donors.
Yep. And well, on to other news. We have Kash Patel put this tweet out. We recently uncovered proof that phone records of U.S. lawmakers were seized for political purposes. That abuse of power ends now. Under my leadership, the FBI will deliver truth and accountability and never again be weaponized against the American people. Well, these 8 senators, Chuck Grassley put out the document that it looks like Mike Kelly, Lindsey Graham, Bill Hagerty, Josh Hawley, Dan Sullivan, Tommy Tuberville, Ron Johnson, Cynthia Loomis, and Marsha Blackburn all had their phones spied on by the Biden FBI.
Keep in mind, this was happening after John Brennan had been spying on senators some years before that. I mean, what are we doing here? Listen, everyone hates the term deep state in a sense because they're like, oh, is there really a deep state? We're finding out that there is a freaking deep state. It does exist and has existed. Donald Trump's administration is starting to root it out. It's not entirely rooted out yet. We still have a few problems there, but the FBI and the DOJ and DHS and others are taking steps to get rid of these deep staters. This is a conspiracy against rights. That is a federal crime. And there are probably direct federal crimes that I don't know off the top of my head related to them spying on senators. You know, there is the speech and debate clause in Congress, and congressional records are held by congressmen and kept privately by congressmen because of the speech and debate clause in the Constitution. Their cell phones fall under that standard. It is a violation of law. It's a violation of the Constitution. What was happening in the Biden and Obama administrations, they set this in course. This really is kind of the end result or the end game of, or maybe a long trail of what Barack Obama began to build up during his 8 years in office. He built a censorship state, or the beginnings of it, and he did have a surveillance state. He was utilizing government resources to spy on individuals. It makes what Nixon did a nothing burger by comparison. It's crazy what's been going on, and this is a fantastic move by Kash Patel to get this job done. We have to expose these people, and where crimes have been committed, people need to be prosecuted and hopefully adjudicated in a court of law and sent to jail.
Yep. Well, we got to go to a break, but we'll be right back with some clips of those senators talking about this.
We have a big announcement, folks. It's called Bella Melt. In the first week, you lost 3 pounds on this, right?
That is correct.
Your GLP-1 is a natural hormone that's in every single one of our bodies. And your GLP-1 lets you know if you're full. It's a satiety hormone. So when your GLP is working properly, it does help suppress your appetite as well as reduce those cravings. So what it's going to do best is it's going to reduce your sugar cravings or any other cravings you have in your body. It's going to suppress that appetite. But where Melissa got the most benefit, I think, over the last week was the L-carnitine. The L-carnitine tells your mitochondria, this is where you make, we talked about it before, this is where you produce energy in your cells. It actually tells those mitochondria to burn fat for fuel.
MelissaHouseBG.com just now introducing for the first time Bella Melt with GLP-1 fast action.
All right, welcome back from the break. Here is Ron Johnson. I guess some of these senators held a press briefing today on this report that the FBI had been spying on 8 senators. And here's Ron Johnson.
So, first of all, I want to thank Senator Grassley. It is because of his relentless advocacy for whistleblowers that a lot of this information is surfacing right now. We wouldn't know about the list of 100 Republican entities that were targeted by Jack Smith's Arctic Frost investigation. I don't think we know about this as well. So we need whistleblowers. I think Dan Bongino and folks in the FBI, they don't know where all the records are hidden. They still don't. They're not necessarily getting 100% cooperation. But this is outrageous what has happened. I just want to give you a timeline of this. I think you've already got the FBI sheet that shows the number of members of Congress that were targeted. Representative Kelly, Senators Graham, Haggerty, Hawley, Sullivan, Tuberville, myself, Senator Lummis, and Blackburn. This memo was dated September of 2023. To put it all into context, the Mar-a-Lago raid occurred in August of 2022. Jack Smith announced the indictments against President Trump in August of 2023. So this is almost 2 months later. They're casting this net, this fishing expedition against members of the Senate and the House. Again, I've been investigating this with Senator Grassley. This doesn't surprise me, but it should shock every American of what the Biden administration has done. And by the way, this is the first time I was targeted by the FBI. Under the Obama administration, the same thing happened to both Senator Grassley and I. As part of the Foreign Influence Task Force, we were giving a briefing to try and convince us that the Hunter Biden laptop was no big deal. Basically, trying to throw us off the track. So this is major corruption that's being revealed inside the Obama and Biden Department of Justice, the FBI. And I'll turn it over to, I guess, Senator Haggerty, who's one of the individuals. Again, none of us were subject to targets of this investigation. There's no predicate. There's no reason for this other than a fishing expedition, which, again, should outrage and shock every American. Senator Haggerty.
Thank you, Senator Johnson. And Chairman Grassley, thank you for your leadership in making this happen. This is an extraordinary revelation.
Well, there you go, Jim.
I'm glad Ron brought that up. I hadn't seen this clip just yet. I mean, yeah, this has been going on since the Biden administration. It was bad enough that the Patriot Act was passed during the Bush administration, which frankly created a construct whereby these non-predicated spyings upon American citizens could be undertaken. And that the Patriot Act needs to be absolutely repealed. We need to go back to where we were before that. It would help fix some of this. But you've got bad actors that have been put into the federal government in an aggressive fashion by Barack Obama and continuing on through the Trump administration, first Trump administration. There were probably a few people that were taken out, but frankly, they were still running the show then. And now Donald Trump's taking it out after the Biden administration weaponized it in a way we've never seen in American history. This has to be extracted. Every bit of pain that people might feel they're going through in the process of getting rid of this, we need to go through, because it's the only way we're going to maintain our freedoms moving forward. Yep.
Well, in other news, the Democrats have blocked the spending package to reopen the government again tonight. I guess it was to keep spending where it's at right now and no changes, and they have turned it down.
I was talking tonight to a friend of mine who's a spokesman for Trump campaign, and we were just kind of talking through things we'd heard. And I mean, there's some sense that one of the reasons Chuck Schumer may want this to happen is so that ICE agents can't be funded. I don't know that that's the fact. We were speculating a bit, but I will tell you this. They're losing this battle. Democrats are losing this battle over the shutdown. And I'm grateful that for the first time in my experience working closely with what goes on in Washington, D.C., the Republicans are actually taking a stand. I hope they continue to do so. There's no reason to negotiate. Donald Trump's leadership, I think, is keeping them together. So that's a big part of it. But it's really a problem. But Donald Trump has a real opportunity to cut a lot of money out of things in the interim and to remove significant numbers of federal employees, which OMB Director Russ Vought says he's working on, and we support and we'll be talking about a lot as time moves forward.
Well, Trump put out a tweet tonight, or I guess True Social, saying Democrats have shut down the United States government right in the midst of one of the most successful economies, including a record stock market that our country has ever had. This has sadly affected so many programs, services, and other elements of society that Americans rely on, and it should not have happened. I'm happy to work with the Democrats on their failed healthcare policies or anything else, but first they must allow our government to reopen. In fact, they should open our government tonight. So we'll see. I don't know how much longer they're going to keep voting on it tonight, but we'll see if they come to an agreement.
If the vote's done, then that's it for tonight. They'll maybe try again tomorrow, and apparently they're going to keep coming back at it during the work week. Democrats don't want to do it. Chuck Schumer actually is dragging his caucus in the Senate into oblivion because he's trying to avoid a primary from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. There is some restlessness in the Democrat caucus in the Senate, so I hear. We'll see how much there is and who's willing to break ranks, but they're not breaking ranks right now. And frankly, listen, I would welcome anyone to go to our website right there, theconservativecaucus.org. Send me a message. Let me know if you're being negatively affected by this shutdown. I would be curious to know that. I don't think Americans are feeling it really right now. The only people feeling it are federal employees and Democrat politicians. And that's fine with me. Let them feel it all they want, because I'm sick and tired of the level of government we have. We're so far beyond constitutional levels of government, and those restrictions have been cast off for far too long. We're on the back end of a progressive experiment that began in earnest during the Woodrow Wilson administration more than 100 years ago. It's time we reverse that trend.
Well, there was a Harvard-Harris poll put out. Does the government shutdown make you more likely to vote for Democrats or Republicans? Republicans, 36%. Democrats, 34%. No effect, 30%.
You know what that means?
Yeah, what does that tell you?
That means Republicans are winning big. If you got 60% of people, more than 60% of people saying either
Republicans
it's Democrats' fault or they're not moved by it one way or the other. And those Democrats and the Democrats that say that it's Republicans' fault, they're just that small percentage of Democrats are the most radical. So this is a win. We're winning this. Republicans need to stand firm, and we need to make the subsequent cuts in government and government employees that should go with this. Continue on, Donald Trump. We have your back.
Yep. Well, in other news, Caroline Leavitt in today's press briefing revealed that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is now involved in uncovering the funders behind Antifa and left-wing violence. This is kind of what we talked about earlier, but let's listen to this.
The financial backing of these groups, particularly Antifa, is certainly something the administration is looking into aggressively. And the federal government has never really been mobilized or tasked with doing that. So we're kind of kickstarting that into gear. The FBI is working on it alongside the White House's Homeland Security Task Force. We have our intelligence community looking into this as well. And even the Secretary of Treasury is involved with these matters since they are financial in nature. And we will continue to get to the bottom of who is funding these organizations in this organized anarchy against our country and our government. It's a question the American people have been begging the answer for many years, and we're committed to uncovering it. And when we do, I'm sure you'll be one of the first people to know.
Well, there you go. And a lot of people say Antifa is not an organization. It stands for anti-fascist. And a lot of the people who you see marching on the streets maybe are just people who are left-wing and don't support Trump or ICE and are not part of the organization Antifa. But when it becomes nighttime and there's hundreds of people dressed in all black with weapons and ready to go, there's some organization there, and there's money being used to fly these people in, house them, and give them the resources to be able to stay and do this day in and day out.
Logan, 3 of my friends are on the ground there right now. They're Antifa. Yeah. I've had a lot of back channel arguments and even public arguments with me on social media saying that Antifa is not a thing. It's a thing. It's never not been a thing. They've been really good at running underground after they took a lot of heat on the back end of the George Floyd riots that they were deeply involved in, and also what happened up in Wisconsin. Antifa is a real thing. It is being funded by people. BLM is a thing. They're connected to Antifa. They're being funded by people. These are radical leftist terrorist groups that are the muscle wing of the Democrat Party. They are aligned with Democrats. They work with Democrats. They are Democrats themselves. They are being supported by a political party that is not an American party. This is a Democrat problem. Antifa are the black shirts, literally, of the Democrat Party. There's no doubt about it. We're not going to back off of that. They can't prove otherwise. We need the political harm to be coming Democrats' way on this because they deserve it, and it's the only way we're going to be able to break from this mold if we don't pin it clearly on the source, which is Democrat politicians and Democrat donors.
Yeah, and we need to find out who are the people funding this, and they need to be arrested.
And by the way, there may be international money coming into this. Let's not forget that. And I guarantee you Scott Bessent is going to be able to figure that out. The Treasury Department has a lot of tools to figure out where money's coming from foreign sources as well. Do not underestimate that there is foreign money involved in this. I mean, this is a really potential scandal that needs to be dealt with aggressively, utilizing the full force of the law under the rule of law to stop it. And Donald Trump says, and all of his deputies say that they're doing this. They need to keep up the aggressive effort because we have to extract this from American culture. This needs to, get down to the roots. We can't just cut off the tops.
Yep. Well, it looks like the National Guard is going to be going to Dallas. Stephen Miller announced on CNN today. Here we go.
Someday calls the National Guard to a red state over what they see as open rebellion, but is what amounts to a demonstration that gets rowdy. I mean, is that not a fear?
They're posting pictures of their kids because it's a demonstration, and they have a sniper on top of a building firing a high-caliber rifle at a nice facility because it's a demonstration, and they are engaged in a vehicle ramming.
But the National Guard isn't being sent to Texas.
Because it's a
the National Guard
demonstration.
isn't being sent to Dallas, where that sniper was.
Because the Dallas Police Department and the governor of Texas, well, you walked right into that one, have responded to every call for assistance and help. They gave a stand-down order in Chicago, and they gave a stand-down order in Portland. Do you realize that there's 11,000 federal law enforcement officers in Oregon? That's larger than the size of the FBI. Local and state police are resourced to deal with this kind of riotous assembly, but they have refused. They've been given a stand-down order. So
they've arrested
we need
some
to use
70
National
people
Guard
since
and federal
June.
troops.
They've been.
Well, there you go. I guess I read that wrong. He said they're not being sent because they're actually responding and taking help. But there you go. We're all out of time for today. You got last thought there?
No, kudos to Steve Miller for pointing this out.
Yep. And he was just in Memphis last week. There was a good video. We'll have to play that. Take care.
Tonight on the Worldview Report, President Donald Trump deployed 300 California National Guard troops to Portland after the president's call-up of Oregon's National Guard. Rival gunmen shot at each other in a crowded downtown nightlife district in